before they drive off, just park right here and sort of take bill from the gentleman. The driver in there?
Blue Benz. Let me see your hands.
Damn, man.
Stay in the car. Let me see your other hand.
I'm sorry. Please don't do that. Take a seat. I'm going in, Mr. Officer. I'm going in. No, you're not. I gotta go in. Take a seat.
Grab a seat, man.
Mind, y'all don't believe me, Mr. Officer. Take a seat. I'm not that kind of guy. Under arrest right now for forgery. I dare you. Okay, we figure out what's going on. All right, restraint. Hobble. Okay.
Bro, with your feet on this net, man, you get off the
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's raw right there. With his feet on the net, man, bro. You doing? You call what you doing? Okay.
Are you really a firefighter?
Yes, I am from Minneapolis.
Okay,
Bro,
then get on the sidewalk.
You
Show
think
me
that's
his
okay?
pulse.
Check his pulse.
Check his right
Charles,
fucking
check his
now.
pulse.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
For the past 2 months, a nightly ritual has played out in front of the main courthouse.
Why are you so angry?
I'm angry because it's been going on forever. Forever.
Every 23 minutes in the world, a young black person dies. We have to fight because of that. If we don't fight, that will continue and we will keep dying.
The death of George Floyd sparked worldwide protests. The hashtag Black Lives Matter flooded social media, streets, and conversations around the world. Outrage swept across nations. Some gatherings remained peaceful, others turned chaotic. And those who couldn't march or protest found other ways to contribute.
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty.
Within months, BLM raised over $60 million from donations pouring in worldwide. They were at the forefront of the movement, but behind the rallying cry, something unexpected was happening. Just 2 weeks after George Floyd's death, BLM co-founder Patrisse Cullors quietly purchased a $6 million mansion. Ownership was swiftly transferred to a Delaware-based LLC, effectively shrouding the transaction in secrecy. For nearly 2 years, the details remained hidden, and so did the misappropriation of over $100 million. But as when BLM board member Shalomaya Powers thought he could transfer $10 million to his own company, was he met with a rude awakening. That privilege is only reserved for Patrisse Cullors. The organization sued Shalomaya, and the resulting lawsuit exposed one of the biggest scams in modern-day history. The hashtag BLM originated on social media in 2013 by Alicia Garza, Patrisse Cullors, and Opal Tometi, following the acquittal of George Zimmerman in the shooting death of Trayvon Martin. In a Facebook post which Alicia Garza describes as a love letter to black people, ending the post with Our Lives Matter, to which Patrisse Cullors in the comment section replied with the famous hashtag Black Lives Matter. Opal Tometi took the phrase and began using it as she built an online network of community organizers and anti-racism advocates. The message was quickly resonated, and it helped unite activists across the country and launched what became known as the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation.
When people come together, when people love, change can happen.
BLM quickly was at the forefront of any minority voice that needed uplifting, and it remained that way for many years, looking out for the voices that are never heard. But in 2020, everything changed.
In February 2020, 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery was shot dead in the South Georgia neighborhood of Satilla Shores. In the 2 months that followed, no arrests were made, but local residents and lawmakers protests at what they said was a deadly combination of racial profiling and flawed self-defense laws. Police did eventually arrest 2 suspects, but it was days after this video of the fatal shooting emerged. Gregory McMichael and his son Travis were charged with murder and aggravated assault.
A month later, police in a botched raid illegally entered the home of Breonna Taylor and fired at her, cutting her life short. Law enforcement tried to minimize the incident as well as its consequences.
In Cosgrove were justified in their use of force.
Shot and killed by police in her own home. The officers entered in connection to a drug investigation. While they had a no-knock warrant, the state's attorney general says they did announce themselves. Wednesday's grand jury announcement, though, sparked outrage. Demonstrations remained mostly peaceful and spanned from coast to coast.
BLM came to the forefront once again, advocating for justice and an equal America. the movement's focus turned to police reform and the call to defund departments that operated with impunity. The African American communities were grieving loss and the idea of living in a country that did not protect them. Tensions were high and all it needed was a spark. 2 months later, police officer Derek Chauvin was seen kneeling on the neck of a lifeless George Floyd. But while the world cried for justice, Patrice Cullors saw dollar signs. The death of George Floyd saw an outpouring of support and donations. BLM received $90 million in 2020, money meant to fight injustice, uplift the oppressed, and support families like Floyd's and Taylor's. But behind the scene, Patrice Cullors had other plans. That $6 million mansion wasn't just a home, it was a clue. Records show it was first purchased by Cullors' financial advisor for $3.1 million, then flipped to BLM for $5.8 million, creating a $2.7 million discrepancy no one could explain.
The hardest moments have been the right-wing media machine, just leveraging literally all its weight against me, against our movement, against BLM, the organization. I'm some weeks out now from a lot of the noise, so I have more perspective, right? While I was in it, I was in survival mode. But it's because we're powerful, because we are winning.
The same advisor, Dane Pascal, not only managed Cullors' finances, but also worked for a consulting firm, which he co-owns with a partner, Janaya Khan. Within a week, Pascal transferred the house into a Delaware LLC, burying the paper trail even deeper. Attempts to question Cullors or BLM about the property were met with silence or vague statements. On April 1st, Shalamaya Powers claimed the mansion, dubbed Campus, was meant to be a creative space for recipients of the Black Joy Creators Fellowship. He said they had always planned to disclose the property in legal filings, insisted it wasn't a personal residence, and argued that purchasing the property through LLCs was standard practice to protect against legal risks.
Critics and the naysayers would have you believe that we've done something improper by creating this safe haven and this safe place for Black people to dream anew.
But those explanations rang hollow, especially since no content had been produced there in over 17 months. Rather than addressing public concern, BLM focused on distancing Patrice from the purchase. When that failed, she claimed the mansion was paid for using earnings from her book deals, but the financial records painted a different picture. Patrice Cullors surrounded herself with a network of trusted insiders, many of whom directly benefited from BLM funds. Dane Pascal also worked for Patrice's baby father, Damon Turner. Turner's media company was paid $970,000 by BLM for its services. The deeper one dug, the more rot was exposed. Cullors paid a graffiti artist brother $1.2 million in 2022 for security services alone. Her mother's cleaning company received contracts to maintain BLM events and properties, including a lavish $6 million estate in Canada purchased shortly after BLM made an $8 million international donation to a grant controlled by Janaya Khan.
The narrative's cracking. Patrice Cullors got $3 million in homes separately. These other three people, they bought as just now a $6 million house. That's $9 million. There was some house that was announced in Canada that she bought for her girlfriend. Okay, that's totaling around, let's call that $12 million. Black Lives Matter announced that they raised over $90 million. Where's the rest of the money?
Meanwhile, at the grassroots level, Black families devastated by police violence were left behind.
It's just sad that they came into this fight with the wrong intentions and took advantage of us mothers and fathers because we were vulnerable, because the police had killed our children. And it's just sad that Patrice Cullors will get on all these newscasts and fabricate stories about they easy to contact. And I've been trying to get in contact with them for 5 years. I'm 52 years old, sir. I ain't never seen Patrice Cullors in Los Angeles ever in my life. And this is where I was born and raised at.
Internal emails dating back to 2016 revealed growing concern among other activists over the movement's finances. It was discovered that Patrice's real estate purchases had stemmed from all the way back then. Mothers who lost children to police brutality pleaded with BLM to stop using the children's names for fundraising.
It's sad that I'm a mother and I have to fight an entity that knew that they came into this fight with the wrong intentions. They never came in here for the fight of the death of our children. They had a hidden agenda. And they can't be mad at me because I was woke and I wasn't asleep and I found out how they was moving, and the way they was moving, it wasn't right.
They had received no support, no legal help, no funding, just silence. In Toronto, 2 BLM organizers publicly resigned, citing a toxic culture of denial and gaslighting. The resignation letters revealed repeated efforts to demand financial transparency, only to be dismissed or accused of spreading rumors. The legal troubles escalated. BLM lost its tax-exempt status after failing to file the IRS Form 990s for 2020 and 2021. An audit showed they had raised $90 million in 2020 and still had $60 million left. But by 2022, that surplus had vanished, replaced by a $9 million deficit.
And then to find out she from the Valley, but you're not doing nothing for the community in Los Angeles. You the head of Black Lives Matter Global Network, and Melina Abdullah is your tail.
Patrice subsequently stepped down from BLM. According to her team, she was focused on her own endeavors since her personal brand had grown. But in an interview with the Los Angeles Times, she took an entirely different angle. All the talk surrounding the property purchase had Patrice thinking she was going to die.
You know, we got the security stuff, both cyber and physical, on point this time around. I still think it's crazy that we used to travel alone.
Girl.
To tiny little towns. I just don't even understand.
Nobody cared.
Nobody
cared about us. Nobody cared about us.
She felt the walls closing in on her when news outlets discovered all the properties that were under her name. Patrice ended her tenure owning 5 different homes. A home in Inglewood, California for $800,000, a home in South California for $590,000, a high-end beach house mansion in the Bahamas, and the now infamous $6 million mansions in California and Canada, purchases BLM tried to hide from the public. Then came the scandal involving Shalomai Bowie, the same board member who once defended the mansion's purchase. He was accused of embezzling $10 million from the organization. He was meant to oversee BLM's transition from the Global Network Foundation, BLM Grassroots. Instead, he allegedly redirected donor funds into his own consulting firm. Bowie's actions had triggered multiple investigations by state and federal agencies, including the IRS. The damage, a path of irreparable harm to BLM in less than 18 months.
I want to push back against the idea that this is quote-unquote infighting. The people that we are fighting against have never been on the ground. They are not Black Lives Matter organizers. They are paid consultants who've never even been to a protest.
But the corruption didn't end there. Another leader, Sir Major Page, who ran the BLM of Greater Atlanta, was caught defrauding donors of $450,000.
Hey guys, how are you? My name is Sir Major Page, and I am the president of Black Lives Matter Greater Atlanta.
Despite losing his non-profit's tax-exempt status, he continued to solicit donations on Facebook, claiming they would help the cause. Instead, the money funded his personal life, entertainment, hotels, designer clothes, weapons, and a private property he tried to hide under a fake business name.
He's charged with wire fraud and 2 counts of money laundering. Page, who's also known as Tyree Conyers Page, is accused of misusing more than $200,000 in donations he collected from Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta.
The FBI will aggressively investigate individuals like Sir Major Page who engage in fraudulent charity schemes at the expense of the American public, said FBI agent Craig Nelson.
Media is trying to create hysteria around my spending is frankly racist and sexist. And also, I want to name that many of us who end up investing in homes in the Black community often invest in homes to take care of their family. So homes that I bought directly support the people that I love and that I care about. I need the community, we need the community to lift us up so that we can be accountable in a principled way, in an honest way, and most importantly, in a loving way. What's happening to me is so not loving. The way that I live my life is in direct support to Black people, including my Black family members.